The beginning of Parshas Vayikra, the Torah says, Vayikra el Moshe, Vayidaber Hashem elav me'ol moed leimar, Daber el b'nai Yisrael v'yomatu alehem, Adam ki akriv mikem karban Hashem. The Torah begins to teach us the laws of karbanos. There are karbanos that come b'nedava. There are also karbanos that are obligatory in nature, as the Torah goes on to explain in this week's parsha. The whole concept of karbanos is certainly something which is of a positive nature. Otherwise, the Torah would not obligate us to become involved in karbanos. However, we find in Tanakh many times that the Nevi'im relate to karbanos seemingly in a fashion which is not necessarily of a positive nature. David HaMelech in Tehillim, in Perek Nun, writes, Ha'ochel psar abirim b'dam atudim yishteh. He asked the question. And this week, where we lay in Parshas Zachar, we also have one of the famous Haftarahs, where the Navi tells us, Shmuel, that is, the following statement. Ha'chepetz l'Hashem ba'olos u'zvachim ki shmoa b'kol Hashem. The simple pshat is not that the kavanah of Shmuel is to tell us that Hashem is not desirous of olos u'zvachim, but rather his kavanah is that he is desirous of our listening to his call, to his voice, then offering up karbanos and not listening to his voice. Now, the pasuk is to be read the following way: Vayomer Shmuel, Hachevetz Hashem ba'olos u'zvachim. Is Hashem desirous of olos u'zvachim? No. What is he interested in? Kishmoa b'kol Hashem. He wants us to listen to his voice, to hearken to his wishes. And of course, the response is no. Hashem wants that we should listen to his voice more than we should be makiv olos u'zvachim. However, olos u'zvachim Hashem is also desirous of. However, it would seem the way the pasuk is parsed, that is not the intention of the pasuk. On the words Vayomer Shmuel, the Tamei HaMikra is a revia. On the words Hachevetz Hashem olos u'zvachim, Zakev Katom, which is a tam that implies more of a hefsek than a revia. The implication being there are two statements being made here. One is Hachevetz Hashem olos u'zvachim, statement one. Statement two, Kishmoa b'kol Hashem. And therefore, the pasuk is to be read in the following way. Shmuel says, is Hashem desirous at all of olos u'zvachim? He has no interest in olos u'zvachim at all. Across the board. His whole interest and sole desire is we should hearken to the Kol Hashem. And we know that many times in Tanakh, the V'im speak very disparagingly about karbanos. So what exactly is the attitude of the Torah towards karbanos? Is it of a positive nature? Or the Torah negates the idea of karbanos in toto? Of course, the answer is that karbanos clearly, they occupy a good percentage of Limud HaTorah, Sefer Vayikra. Many Masechtos in Shas, Kodshim, are devoted to the study of karbanos, so clearly there has to be a positive element that's attached to them. There are many, as I mentioned, karbanos chova. The Gemara says at the end of Tainis, Ilmole ma'amados lo niskaymu shamayim va'oretz. If not for the karbanos, the world would not exist. And the Mishnah says in Pirkei Avos in the first parak, Al shlosh dvarim ha'olam ha'imei. The world stands on three principles: Al ha'Torah, Bi'al ha'avodah, Bi'al gemilas chasodim. Clearly, one of the principles is avodah, avodas hakarbanos. Avram Avinu asked HaKadosh Baruch Hu in Bereshis, in the context of the Bris Ben Absarim, B'ma'ei daki yiroshena, says Rashi on the spot, what schus do I have that I shall be able to inherit Eretz Yisrael, that my children should remain in Eretz Yisrael? The Almighty responds, Kecholi egla meshuleshes, ve'ez meshuleshesh, ve'ayil meshulash, V'sor v'gozol. Says the Gemara, say Chazal, b'schus sakarmanos. The Gemara even brings over there in Tainus that Avraham Avinu had a further dialogue with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Teinach bizman shebeis hamikdash kaya. All this is hafla v'afela, honky dory. During the time the Beis Hamikdash is extant. Bizman shein beis hamikdash kaya matei aleim. What's going to be when there's no Beis Hamikdash? Amalo Hashem said, "Kvar tikanti lem seder karbanos." I ordered Misakein the whole seder of karbanos. Bizman shekarim b'hem lefanai, mala ni aleim kilu kivim lefanai. When we say the karbanos, it's as if we were makriv the karbanos in the presence of Hashem Yisbarach. Bani moichel lahem al kol avonoseihem. I will in effect expiate and atone for all their sins. In other words, learning and studying the Inyanei Karbanos is tantamount to being makriv karban. And a similar Gemara is also found in the end of Masechus Megillah. Soloveitchik Zatzal was of the opinion, and this is a rather novel opinion, but that was his position, that the obligation to say Karbanos in the morning is a din daraisa. And he built an entire lumdus to demonstrate this position. Mashen Kain, Amiras Plugin the Zimra, Midas Chassidus. The Rambam says in Hilchos Tefillah, B'shimchu Chachamim. Chazal will mishabech those who say Sefer Tehillim. It's based on the Gemara in Shabbos called Kisvei. The Gemara has the contradiction of two Mamar Chazal. One says, Yi Chelki Gomri Halal B'chal Yom, that my chiluk should be with those who say Halal every day. He asked the Gemara from another statement. Kolom Halal B'chal Yom Hareisim B'chari from Megadev. One is guilty of blasphemy if one says Halal on a daily basis. The Gemara answers, we're talking about two different types of Halal. One is a Halal Psudah de Zimra, that is desirable. A Halal over Teva, over Hashem's handiwork in nature. That is something which the Gemara says, Yehi Chelki im Gomri Halal B'chol Yom. The second Halal is Halal Mitzri, where we ask Hashem Yisbarach to perform supernatural miracles. Nisim and it flows. And that Halal, on a daily basis, is inappropriate. Hareizim Mechari from Megadev. So the Rambam writes, B'shivchu Chachamim, Chazal u'Mishabeach, those who say Psukim Dezim on a daily basis. So that's a Midas Chassidus, said Rav Soloveitchik. Well, Amiras HaKarbanos is a Din Daraisa. And he was Mitzarev, the Gemara in Megillah, the Gemara in Tainus, Abeniena, a few other things, to justify this position of Karbanos being a Din Daraisa. One sees that Inyan Karbanos is something which is very transcendental in nature, very significant, but of course, we understand very well that that itself is the Maaseh, the action involved in the Karban, but there's a Kiyum Shabbaleh, which is probably even more critical, and that is that Chazal say, Zerach Rishoim To'eva. And that's what the Nevi'im apparently rail against. The idea that a person can bring a Karban, and the Karban is an end in itself, and will expiate, will atone for all my sins, that is a notion which is erroneous, which is unconscionable, has no basis, no fundamental basis for it whatsoever. And that's what the Nevi'im scream about. How chel b'sar abirim? Does HaKadosh Baruch Hu need a steak dinner? Chalila, chas v'shalom. HaKadosh Baruch Hu does not require any ochel. And the Ribono Shalom has access, as the pasuk says in Micha, he could create thousands of Eilim u'Revavos nachalei shomin. He says in Micha. There's no need for Hashem to take an Ola or Mincha. So why did Hashem tell us about Korbanos? Says the Gemara at the end of Sanhedrin, Rachmona liba boy. Hashem is desirous of our heart. Hashem wants our heart. Not to take our heart away from us, chas v'sholom, but rather that we should, in effect, use our leiv and use our regesh in order to connect with Hashem Yisbarach for ourselves. And how does the Korban help a person be misakein es libo? How does it help a person come to that lofty purpose? When a person is makriv the Korban, there's a hisorus. There's a tremendous sense of uplifting excitement to be margish that really he himself should be the Korban, as the Ramban writes in Sefer Vayikra and Parshas Vayikra. He himself should be nekad v'nishchat agav hamizbeach, because every limb that a person has, says the Ramban, the schus kiyum is only that limb carries out its function. The mouth should speak divrei Torah. My hands and legs should run to do chasadim, to carry out the mitzvah of Hashem Yisbarach. one does not do that, the limb that deviates, that is moyel, loses its chus kiyum, loses its right to exist. But Hashem Yisbarach b'chazdo hagadol gave us the notion of karbanos to serve as an expiation. Vayaleu la'ila tachas b'no. And therefore, one should have this visceral recognition that really one should be nekad v'nishchad al gabi ha-mizbeach k'mo Yitzchak Avinu, if it were possible. But since HaKadosh Baruch Hu indicated clearly He's not interested in human sacrifice, chas v'sholom, I don't slaughter myself, but rather I makriv an animal. But be'ikar, what am I being makriv? My heart. Leiv nishbar v'nitke Elokim lo sivzeh. A heart that's contrite, that's penitent. HaKadosh Baruch Hu will not reject such a heart. And that's the yesod of a person who's being makriv a korban to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And this idea is really what lies behind korbanos. The idea of a korban is lehiskarev el Hashem Yisbarach, to come closer to Hashem. Rachman liba boy, halabai. We should continue, be'ez Hashem Yisbarach, to try our best to come closer and closer to Hashem Yisbarach, to offer up to the Rebbeinu Shalom alev, our hearts, our innermost feelings, our regesh, our entire persona, and that, of course, in that light, then korban takes on a totally different kind of, shall we say, perspective, and that's the perspective that Hashem Yisbarach wants us, that korban should be, shall we say, the Maisa mitzvah is the Hakaras HaKorban, but the Kiyum mitzvah, the Kiyum Shabalev, the premius of the korban, is how I approach HaKadosh Baruch Hu, B'leiv nishbar v'nitke Elokim lo sivzeh.